Gio, and today we're going to talk about 3 benefits of going to college and 3 potential drawbacks that you can actually get from going to college. So without any further ado, let's get started. The first benefit of going to college would be being exposed to networking with people. This one is particularly interesting because when you go to college, you meet people that you wouldn't regularly meet outside of school. For example, let's say you go straight into the workforce and you forego the opportunity to go to college. You are going to not get to meet the people that would normally help you further your career. You're not going to be able to meet lifelong friends. You're not going to meet your potential soulmate. You're not going to be able to meet just a lot of people that, make your life better. You're only going to be hanging out with, friends that you've met elsewhere, friends that you've met at the job, friends from high school, and you're just not going to be exposed to those type of people that are, in the professional field that you are trying to get into. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at the first drawback of going to college, which would be that you're foregoing the opportunity to go work at, let's say, construction, plumbing, electricity, and there are also some corporate jobs that you don't need to go to college for. For example, let's say you want to go into customer service, you want to be in sales, you want to be a sales manager. You don't necessarily need a college degree to go into those type of fields, which can actually even yield you a lot of money. They can give you a pretty good living and you can make a good living out of that, and you're just foregoing those earnings in order to go to college and take on the risk of perhaps not even, being able to find something in your field. It's really good to go straight into the workforce, for example, whether it is to be in sales, whether it is to be a manager somewhere, call center manager. It's really good. And if you go straight into college without considering what might be out there for you, you're just foregoing that and you're missing out. Second benefit is that you are being exposed to a vast amount of resources. If you go to college, you are going to not only be exposed to, of course, the learning material, the classes, the teacher, the students. You're also going to be exposed to various programs in your school. For example, if you're a business major, you're going to be exposed to leadership programs, you're going to be exposed to sales programs, you're going to be exposed to, computer programming programs, and it's just a lot of resources that there are in a university that are extracurricular that you don't really need to be enrolled in a class in order to benefit from them. And a lot of these programs are actually free, and that's the big one. Because, for example, let's say you want to go and you want to further your sales skills, or you want to further your soft skills such as presenting and public speaking. There are a lot of clubs for that help you with that are at no cost, that you can join at no cost. And that is just something that is great to have, because it helps you build your confidence, and it's something that you can even apply to real life. And if you miss out on those opportunities to grow yourself, then you're just missing out on a big opportunity. Okay, so the second drawback is actually a little bit confusing, because I just spoke about how there's a big number of clubs and programs you can join to help you grow yourself. However, there are also some things that you cannot teach a college student, which brings me to point number 2. There are some things that you're just not going to be able to get better at. For example, let's say you are an employee and you want to become a manager. You cannot just teach management to a student and just say, okay, there you go, I've taught you a course of management, you are now a better manager. You may be a better accountant, you may be a better computer programmer, you may be a better financial analyst even, but you are not going to be able to be a good manager. Or let's say you're not going to be able to be a good leader. Let's say you are taking a class on leadership. Yes, you might know what attributes they possess. You might be able to know how they act, what they do, what responsibilities they have in a company. However, you're just not going to be able to get those management skills out of a course. You have to go into the real world, apply yourself, and understand, okay, how can I use my experiences to be able to manage these people? because not working and going straight to a college course where they teach you management and how to lead people in a company is certainly not going to make you a good manager anytime soon. And you know, there are just some things that you cannot just be taught like that by paying $1,200 for a course. You have to go out and earn those experiences and apply them so you can better yourself. All right, moving forward to point number 3 is going to be the benefit of going to college would be that you are ultimately developing your competencies. For example, let's say in high school you get a job like I did. Like, let's say I got a job at Burger King when I was 16, and I started learning a little bit of accounting because I had to count labor expenses, I had to count the amount of waste that we were producing each day, and we had to deduct all of those expenses from our total revenue. And you know, let's say I'm learning some accounting at my first job in high school, and now I want to be an accountant. Well, the course is obviously going to help me become a better accountant. It's going to help me analyze financial statements a lot better, and those are just things that you cannot learn in the workforce. You cannot learn accounting in the workforce. They expect you to know that because it is such a competitive field. The earnings are pretty good, and there are just a lot of people competing for those jobs. So being able to go to a college and learning all those things, joining those types of programs for accounting or for auditing, for tax, they're just really good, and they're helping you develop those competencies. So that's the point number 3, because let's say aside from accounting you want to go into engineering, you want to go, let's say, into mechanical engineering. You obviously need to go to college for that. Let's say you want to become a computer programmer. Yes, a lot of people can learn computer programming from home, but ultimately going to college and joining clubs and, you know, being able to have access to, you know, software that would otherwise be expensive for you to obtain outside of college, that is going to help you develop those competencies to become a better programmer in Python or in C++. And that is the third benefit. You are going to be standing out from the competition. Let's say you're the only college student, you're the only college graduate, and you're applying for an accounting positions for accounts payable and accounts receivable. You are going to stand out because you have those competencies. You know how to read not only statements of cash flow, not only billing, but you know how to read stockholder equity, you know how to read income statement, balance sheets. And somebody that's more versatile in those types of fields is somebody that's going to be standing out more, and somebody that is going to be worth hiring. And that is something to really take a look at, because otherwise you're not going to stand out. You're going to bring in the basic skills that everybody is bringing, and what is the likelihood of you getting hired after that? Okay, let's move over to point number 3. And what is the drawback of going to college? This is the third drawback. Now, the third drawback is going to be that, yes, although you might obtain good competencies, you might be able to be exposed to a vast amount of resources, and you might be able to network with people. You are incurring a large debt. You know, if you go to a public school or you go to a school in another state, for example, I live in Texas. If I go to a school in California, if I go to California State University, I'm going to incur a lot of debt. I am going to have to pay perhaps $80,000 after college, and the interest is going to be accruing, obviously. So we really need to take that in consideration, because let's say I want to get a house, or let's say I want to get a car right after college, right after I get my full-time offer. How am I going to be able to do that knowing that I'm still owing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars? I'm just incurring that debt, and it's growing per year. So you have to make sure that you use those resources to their full potential, because you're not going to just be going to college to have fun and learn stuff knowing that you are going to be thousands and thousands of dollars in debt if you do not administer yourself properly. You need to be able to have a job at the same time. You need to be able to have low expenses on one side, and you might want to be able to have a different stream of income in the other side. And you know, you want to be able to that you cover as much as tuition as possible to lower that debt. And that's just something that really needs to be kept in mind, that a lot of people don't think of. They just think, okay, you know what, let me just go to college to have fun, to find myself, to really find what I truly want to do, to find my passion. And that can sometimes be a waste of time. So you might really want to be careful with that. And with that being said, those were 3 benefits of going to college and 3 drawbacks of going to college. Feel free to tell me what you think. Let me know if you disagree with any of these points. Let me know if you agree, if you want to add anything to this. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to smash that like button. It'll really help out. And as always, I will see you on the next one. And thank you so much.